Welcome back to the Rifts Automated Character Sheet. In today's 003 update, we are going to go over some of the changes and additions made in this update. But first, I have to remind you that this is a template, and you can't simply patch your existing character sheets. You will need to re-enter the data from an earlier version of the character sheet into this new template to take advantage of all the features in this update. The first change is that we've updated the printed area. So if you wanted to print a character sheet, whether for creating a PDF or for passing around to your friends, or if you wanted to go old school and print off a hard copy to use with pen and pencil, you would go File, Print, and the new format grabs the essential part of the character sheet. I have omitted the Work tab and the Dice Roller because those are some things you would not be using in a pen and paper style character sheet. Next, I've fixed some stuff on the main sheet pertaining to lifting and carrying capacities. So if you see here, I'll put a value of 25 for strength. If you change the lifting capacities, you can go to strong augmented with the crazy, which is ×2, and augmented juicer, which is ×4. Robotics with a giant, so if you're a giant robot over 20 feet, and supernatural. And you can pick something, and you'll see that the carrying and lifting capacities are now the correct values. If you want more details on the specifics of that, just hover over the highlighted cell and it'll tell you right here. Next, we've added the caps and extra bonuses for Beyond 30. So let's say we went crazy and you got yourself a Heroes Unlimited mixed with Rifts. If I added 60 to all the attributes here, you can see that the attributes are now capping out with extra bonuses. So perception is capped. Your insanity and psi bonuses are capped. You get additional bonuses for possession. Your strength is still the same. Your physical prowess cap is at +8. Your physical endurance caps are +8, but your coma and death keep rising with your PE level. And last but not least, I got some concerns from people who were getting annoyed every time I changed something. That the numbers here would keep changing and was driving them crazy, so I added a enable-disable function here. So you just click or uncheck the box and the numbers will disappear. So now if you start changing stuff, let's see if we put our hand-to-hand in. You'll notice that these values do not change now. And if you want it back, all you got to do is click on the enable and the numbers will reappear. So now you can roll dice here. So for the next feature, we're going to jump over to the datasheet. And what I've done here is I've changed the password so people can add customized skills. So again, how you do that is you right-click on the tab, click on Protect Sheet, and the password bar pops up. And the password is Rifts, all capitals. So capital R-I-F-T-S. And that unlocks the page. So now I can actually touch and do stuff here. So let's say you wanted to add a custom language or skill, something that hasn't been used or is very rarely used. I got a request from one board member who wanted me to add the languages from the CCW. And I've added the trade languages here and the Wolfen language. Let's say you wanted to add something very unique like Gromech, where it's used by a very select few RCCs or by a single race. The way you would do this is you would grab the cells here like this, and you go right, insert. And when it asks do you want to move the cells right, down, or whatever, you want it to move down, because if you were to affect the cells to the right, you could potentially knock out a bunch of the spells or cybernetics or psychic abilities. So be careful when you do that. So I'll just hit insert. And now I can copy these here, and I can just grab the little square in the corner to pull it down. So I've got the same percentile values, and then I can change this to say, let's go Gromech. It's a pretty rare skill. And then when you're done, make sure you re-protect this. Right click, protect. And you're going to type in the password Rifts so you can remember it for next time. Capital R-I-F-T-S. It's going to ask you for the password again. Capital R-I-F-T-S. And it's saved and it's locked. I do have to warn you again that messing around with anything on this page can ruin the template. So if you are concerned about doing so, I advise you to stay away. But as I said, I've gotten some requests from some people that they wanted to add custom skills or languages, or they wanted to tweak some of the values for their own personal campaigns. So I leave that up to your game master and to your own prerogative. But you've been warned, so if you ruin it, it's your fault. So next, on to new content. Alright, so by clicking on the Magic tab, you now are here under the Spells section. As before, you've got your common spells, but I've added in the Air Elemental, Earth Elemental, Fire Elemental, and Water Elemental spells. I've done each of these blocks for each of the spells, mostly because there are several spells that each of the 4 elements possesses, but there's some slight change, slightly less PPE, slightly more carrying capacity, slightly longer range, depending on which element that you belong to. And I figured this was the best way to separate them. So these were added in mostly for the Elemental Fusionist and the Warlock from the Palladium Fantasy. If you want to bring that into Rifts, this is the ideal spell list for those 2 OCCs. Let's say you wanted to be a Air Warlock. You can then go in and pick your spells. So select level 1 to kind of highlight where our spells are. And Cloud of Slumber is our favorite one here, and we'll throw in some Stop Wind, Thunderclap. And let's say you, as a Air Elemental Warlock, have no need for common spells or other elemental spells for that matter. So if you want to customize your sheet, all you'd have to do is right-click on the Magic tab. And again, this has been presented in the advanced options, so hopefully you've already watched this and this is not new, but here it is again. So if you hit the unprotect, punch in the password, which is Rifts with all capital, so capital RIFTS. That's now unlocked. I can delete all the common spells because I don't need them, because I'm only dealing with air elemental spells. And I don't need any of the other elemental spells or Ocean Magic or Biomancer or Necromancer spells. So I'm just going to highlight all these guys, right click, delete cells. So now all I've got are the air elemental spells. Now since I'm only going air elemental spells, maybe I want more than just a handful, so I can click in here, extend down here, insert, and you notice that it added the cells but it did not add the format between them. So if I grab this guy, go to the end, and then grab this little tiny little square, drag the formatting up, you'll see that that's now been populated. And I guess we can add our 8th level spells, right? And if we take something like Creature of the Wind, there you go, it's all populated. Now, as mentioned in the advanced tutorial, you'll notice that some of these are actually cropped, like they're missing some of the data. That data is there, you just need to increase the rows. So for this guy, I'm just going to grab here, drag him down one more, and you see that there's more data, but it also looks like there's even more data. So I'll drag him and drop him one more row down, and you'll see that all the data there is now present. And that, folks, concludes our 003 update. Until next time.